So are we live?
Yes.
And alive?
We're alive!
We're alive.
We're alive. We're alive.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you guys
Thank
for
you for
coming
coming.
over here and enjoying wonderful food with us. We appreciate you guys and appreciate our time with you guys and wanting to get back in this way now that we're back and share with you what we're up to and whatnot.
That's beautiful. Thank you very much. Thank you for taking the time too.
We enjoy it. That's like our medicine now, is sharing light-filled food made with a lot of love with the people that we love. Thank you.
To me, that isn't it. For me,
That's right. Everybody has their way.
I just prefer being myself without needing to worry about anything. I don't even
You prefer
need
what?
to egg to give love. To me, giving love is just being myself.
Yes, that's
And,
perfect
and
too.
this is them being themselves.
Yeah.
So yummy.
If you did not recognize that, then you have nice a little bit close.
So
Well, I do recognize that. I do.
is there an all raw food place anywhere in this area of Mexico?
Not all raw, like even there was even the vegan restaurant that we used to love to go to, Ixiom. Like we were like, oh yeah, we're raw now, and she basically, there might be a few things we could have, but even like the orange carrot juice, she freezes the carrots, and for us, nothing frozen, nothing, you know, that kills the enzymes.
Fresh.
Yeah, so it all needs
This
to
is
be
really
fresh.
good. Really yummy.
Yeah, it's the second time I made it. This time, mixed it up a little bit different. Like, trying
He's
different
getting
ways.
very creative.
No.
No. It's bringing the spice to
The childlike frolic in it.
Yeah, don't touch it.
You know what happens if you touch the lens?
What?
Then your fingerprint goes in there and destroys the image a tiny bit. So perhaps we want to clean it. No? Do you have a little cloth, like one of those for cleaning the lens?
It's probably okay. Probably all right.
Did you put your finger on the lens?
Do you touch it?
A bit.
It's very polite to ask people before you touch their stuff,
Yes.
especially some equipment like that. If anything that anybody has, it's always nice to say, may I have your permission to touch the things that are yours, you know?
It's I like doing that. I'm not sure why.
It's
I
true.
just like being a
And what they say is
rascal.
well, you play that role really well.
I like being a rascal
But-
too.
Now let's try to be good. Without
You are
rascal.
good. You're still good when you're a
Yeah.
rascal. Yeah, it's all good.
But it's also good to ask.
Yeah, that's one good thing I've learned. Sometimes, you know, we forget, but it's good to be reminded. Do you like it when friends come over and play with your stuff without asking?
Well, actually, Kira needs to do it all the time.
But the
And
question
I
is,
have
do you
no
like it?
like it?
problem. The truth is, I have no problem with that.
I remember when you used to. Do you remember when you used to?
No.
Or when the cleaner moves your stuff, your toys?
Yes, that, yes.
I knew it!
One slight movement of stuff, she's like, ah.
Oh, move my stuff!
I mean, I tell them for art to not touch that.
See?
And if they do it, but
We tell you before too, don't touch somebody else's stuff. You always ask permission.
Okay. This is so yummy.
But let's just say, you know what you were doing. You wanted to be a rascal. Go ahead. Go for the consequences.
no.
No. You have consequences this time.
Yeah, there's always
okay,
every
okay.
action has a cause.
Consequence.
Yeah.
Action.
Like if you choose to be a rascal in my house, then maybe I won't invite you over again. Because,
That's your opinion. I can choose with your opinion.
but there's still things in my house that are my things that, you know, you can't be throwing around like crystals and stuff. That would be quite rude to be touching things that are not yours. When you're in somebody else's house, it's best to show respect to the people's house that you're in by not messing with their stuff, by not being a rascal.
Right now, I'm messing with your stuff.
Did you try your soup yet? I want to see what you
Yeah, did you try the
think.
soup, love?
Yes.
You like, do you like it? You like dumplings. So why don't you come and finish your soup?
Because I want to play.
No, you said you were hungry. You said you were really hungry right before we got here.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, mi amor. Just as long as you
Having kids. I mean, you've had
I know.
children, you know, obviously.
No, yeah, we know.
So how was your adventure in the monastery?
Yeah, I want to hear more about that.
Yeah, when I went to Mauritius,
Yes.
yeah, it was really amazing. My teacher had a house kind of like this, but he stayed in the downstairs, and the upstairs was just like really nice, and he gave me full reign. It was like my floor. It was twice as big as this. I had my own bedroom, and he gave me lots of books to read, and I got to walk down to the beach like a mile away, and the water was super clear. You could see all the colorful fish in it, and the sand was like super white, soft coral sand.
Sounds like paradise.
Yeah, it was
Beautiful.
really amazing. The streets were a lot dirtier than here. There was a lot more like feces on the streets. Like, I don't think it was just animals. It was like people also. And it was, you know, here they don't really care about picking up their trash, or they just kind of actually like pile it on the corners and then just kind of leave it everywhere. So it was kind of like that there. But they had people that got paid to like sweep it up. So in a way it was cleaner, in a way it was dirtier, in a way it was safer. I mean, here's safer, and here's like more smiles and happier, and more people greet you. But my teacher, once I got there, his job changed, so he had a lot more responsibility. So he didn't have much time for me.
Oh.
But he gave me lots of books. And,
He's like, you're on your own.
yeah,
Did he give you at
pretty
least
much.
some classes? Some training?
Not really.
No?
No, I didn't really have any classes with him.
David, he realized he didn't need it.
Hmm.
He stood on the shoulders of his teacher and realized this is an old way that is not going to serve humanity.
It had its place at some point, and now it's not needed
For where we're going,
Right
as
now.
far
Ah.
as far as humanity, we're evolving to this next, you know, step of not needing
Yeah.
dogma and
Now we can go
all
within
that.
ourselves.
Yeah,
and discover.
yeah.
Hearing more and more about that.
yeah.
Yeah. So I looked at the different yoga sutras and then all the asanas that they recommended and stuff, and then reading the different paperwork, reading the different books, I learned how there's like two ways, you know, you can do all the asanas, or there's those that like have done the asanas in their lifetimes and don't need to do the asanas. In a way, like, we did sit silently for a whole lifetime when we were a tree,
Do you want
or when we were a blade of grass.
Yeah.
So it's not like we need to sit a lifetime in silence, because we've pretty much done that in a different lifetime. And so one of the books that I opened up and read that he recommended, it said, like, those that have unconditional love for all don't really need to read this book even. Don't even really need to finish off this book and read it, because
That's the end goal.
they don't really need
They're at the end.
to have knowledge. They don't need to seek knowledge. And I was like, oh, I'm there. So, but I still finished the book because there was some really cool advice and wisdom in it. I found some really cool books. But when I really got into the Vedas and reading the Vedas, there's so much controversy in the translations of it. I saw that how Sanskrit is dead. The language is dead because there's so many people that, you know, one word can mean 1,000 different things, and no one really
Knows
agrees,
which one.
and they're so different. So it's not like there's idiots. It's been so lost. So then the books that were translated, I got some of the best translations. The Swami Dayananda, this guy was a very purist, and he only stuck with the basic four Vedas and the true Sanskrit. But I believe that all books have been changed, and I believe that even Sanskrit was changed.
Well, probably I suspect the best authorities were not only Sanskrit authorities, but also had channeled wisdom and pure love and that connection.
Yeah.
That combined with Sanskrit, like the two of those things, then there's some authority.
Yeah, so some books and some people have it a little better than others, have the wisdom of that stuff a lot
Alright,
better
this
than
is gonna
others.
be-
Live. You want to see it, they're really living it. And they're
Yeah.
transforming their hearts. Like
And
that.
so Dayananda was that way. Dayananda, really, like The Light of the Truth, is a really good book. And that's the one he sent me to before I even went there. When I first met him, I've read it twice already and gone through it. And he showed me how to look at things like God is just, God is merciful, God is all powerful, all knowing. And if the books that say they're of God don't really go along with that, then they're not really that. They're not really books of God. And so that got me onto like looking at the Vedas that way. And then realizing that the Vedas were full of contradiction and doubt. I didn't read all of the Vedas. I was studying one Veda and then a book that was accumulation of a bunch of different Vedas with a bunch of different translations.
Well, from what I understand with the Vedas, that there's different parts for different kinds of people. There's not all
Yeah.
for everybody.
Yeah.
Like some sections are if you're following this path, and there's other sections for different kinds of people with different other goals. And it's not meant to be like a one size fits all.
Yeah, there's
It's like-
something like 20,000 verses just in one of the
Whoa,
books.
wow.
Just a what?
In one of the books,
They're all the
there's like
same.
20,000 verses or something like that. And so, but then the translations are all weird. But a lot of it, the stuff that I read was contradiction. Like they would say how you
This is
need
like
to
a-
have unconditional
this
love
is
for
a
all.
fermented,
Yeah, so it's like some really good
soy
stuff.
sauce.
But then it also said that
with some
pray
ginger in there.
for God to
Spicy.
destroy your enemies.
It has a little ginger in there.
And it's like, how can you love all and have enemies?
Yeah.
And so like my
That's a different-
knowledge
different
and
people with
wisdom was
different
on a
goals.
different
I think
level than that.
Yeah, she can just dip it in there.
Seeing
Okay, you
how
can just dip it with your fingers if you want.
it's not really necessary to pray for God to destroy your enemies when God is all whole, complete, and perfect and divine.
Just grab
Then
a bunch of
everything
them
is
and-
divine.
Yeah.
Even
Our table's just not big enough to.
No, this is
put it
good.
down.
can you do this?
Oh,
Right?
wait.
Just grab it.
I just put a bunch of them on the
Yeah, you do
plate.
this?
We're sharing a plate.
Yeah, just put the plate there. You have some sprouts in this.
Yeah.
Go like this.
I think I recommend that one.
And then now you can move like this, right?
Do you have a little spoon?
Oh,
You
yeah.
wanna set that back in?
Then you can move this finger like this.
Is that yours?
Did you see this? Remember? You can move this.
We're missing some.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that one. This one is good.
And this is a spicy sauce. If you guys want to try it, it's.
Thank you.
Like that. Or do you-
Yeah. Give me a drop one. Sure.
David likes it hot, so I put some serrano peppers and
Ooh. Yummy.
ginger and stuff in this one. So. Let's see, yeah.
brave enough.
Yeah, it was great studying all of that stuff and learning. It gave me a lot of time to just read.
I remember hearing how the different yugas or different phases had different directives. Like some were more like fire sacrifices, other ages were for different kinds of practices. Apparently this one's supposed to be, according to what I remember, it's about love, it's about bhakti, it's about dancing and chanting and joyful connection.
Yeah.
That's what the sage's fastest method.
And I believe that too, but he was doing the Hama fire ceremony. And he was teaching me that way.
That's like another age.
And,
Yeah.
and that
That's for
way
another age.
is of
That's great.
materialism.
It's a great way to do something. But
Yeah.
It's not this age for transcendence.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And it's a way of like burning materials, burning things for your prayer, for the better of good. And it's like, well, it's like, aren't you actually harming the cows by by burning the ghee because cows aren't treated properly? Like, and so he didn't want to debate with me or point. So that was kind of rough. I couldn't quite have the conversations with him. because he was so attached to that way.
Mm-hmm.
And it's beautiful, and that's, you should be attached to your way, I guess. But he should be, and it's his duty.
Yeah,
and
he's
it's
committed
his
to it.
beliefs, and he's
Yeah.
committed, and that's his whole life. But
For you to
I don't
come
think
and
we need to pick the flowers and harm the flowers and
yes.
pick the herbs and harm the cow to do good. And the people's eyes are burning in the houses, and people are like coughing with the smoke and stuff. They're like, oh, it's purifying the air. It's like, well, they don't look like they're
You have to have the air for it.
doing good.
And usually, I don't know, those kind of communities, usually they have a goshala where they protect the cows.
Mm-hmm.
And they get ghee from a protected place, usually. Those are the tradition.
I didn't see any cows on the island.
So it just commercial ghee, I guess.
This
Yeah.
is really yummy.
Mm.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And he'd like to do it that way, get his ghee that way. But it doesn't work out that way, he doesn't. And so, material for material is what it was. Material for material. And I learned that was not my way. My way is spiritual, is the spiritual side of it. So I don't need to burn material for material achievements.
What's the difference between material and spiritual? Wait.
Material is like physical things. Like material would be burning ghee in a fire, is you're burning for material. And spiritual is just being. It's not necessary to pray for things to come into your life. We have all that we need, and we always will. Anything that is meant for us is on its way to us. We already have it. We will have everything as we need it. And knowing that is very peaceful, and it's a good
It's
practice.
like the way of the Tao. Have you ever heard of the Tao Te Ching?
I've heard people talking about it, but I don't read books. I haven't read any books. But the other question I have to follow up is, what were you going to say about the difference between material?
Well, there's actually no difference between material and God, because the material is God made.
Yeah.
And that means that the material, if it's made by God, it's part of God, which means the material's also God.
There's nothing
There's
about
no
God.
difference
Got it,
between
Miguel?
God and material.
Oh, God, take one more.
Come on.
Everything.
That's because God is everything. God is
Yes.
the material
Nothing
and the
but God.
spiritual.
So,
All
my
is one.
question is
Material's
to
the
you,
forgetfulness illusion of
if you know that God has everything and that you don't need to pray or do anything, why I don't do is
You want some more?
run around. I'm good. Why don't you just run around, play? Like, you don't need to meditate or that you're just free. You can
Because-
do what you want.
I think I have the answer. He's doing what he wants. You just want to project what you like into others. But everybody's free. Everybody's unique. So
And that's
they
what
are
I
doing
do.
what they like.
I do run around and play.
Wait,
I'm here
show me a
enjoying
picture
life.
of you. Show me a picture of you running around.
I'm in the middle of eating right now.
I could show you some pictures of him.
Yeah. That's the thing. Everybody. So here's the thing. Everybody is living a life how they want to live it already. Sometimes they just don't realize it. And they think that life has to be that way, and don't realize that they have chosen the life that they have. But everybody is living the life that they want.
Because all the all is the all.
Mm-hmm.
It is just one. It all came from the one. And so my practice now that I think matters, like I realize that, like she said, meditation and prayer and things like that are great, and they help people along the way. But the practice of asanas and the practice of reading and studying and doing all of these different things, I learned that my practice is mindfulness. Like the main thing to be is to be mindful in every situation. To be
At the
here
present
now, to
moment.
be present and mindful of it, because
That's
nothing
the
else
key.
matters.
Yeah.
It's
That's
future
the
and
key.
past.
Yeah.
We have everything in the now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you enjoy that now, then
And it's a practice for sure, you know.
Yes,
It's not
yes,
worrying about the
yes.
future and not being bummed about the past. It's a practice.
It is totally.
But in being here right now with all of you, rather than on the phone or thinking about what's next or thinking about what's next time, and it's a beautiful practice that I'm onto now, of the point of where my focus is just to be focused on the
What's
moment.
here? The moment.
Then, so meditation can mean thousands of things, so it doesn't really mean anything in a way. And so I sit on the beach and look like I'm meditating, but I'm sitting on the beach with my eyes open, being here, just enjoying it all and seeing it all, and looking at the sun and watching the sun go down, and listening to my wife sing, and listen to the waves, and just being fully present in the present as I can. And then I'll even, sit there closing my eyes and just focusing on the sounds and just being present on the sounds, and then learning to sit on the roof where I would normally sit and close my eyes and focus on being somewhere else or something else, or focus on something. Just sitting on the roof with my eyes open and just having my whole eyes open and not actually focusing on anything, but
Absorbing
instead
it
of
all.
seeing, instead of like looking, I'm like practicing just seeing.
it's beautiful.
And it's, thank you for asking. Glad to share what I learned.
I googled what is meditation, and the one that I saw that seemed pretty easy and resonated with me is absence of thought, and that's just being in the present moment.
Papa, I have a question. Why do you say talking about I never already know the answer?
I did not know the answer.
But the answer is, what is meditating is just being yourself, and you do know that, yes or no?
I did not know what the definition was. That's why I looked for it. So the one I like is the absence of thought. It's just being present. So yeah. you can meditate by doing anything that you love, and that's how I came to that conclusion. Oh, okay, that's cool. So you can meditate while running, while eating, while talking with your friends.
Right now you're meditating
Of course.
right in this moment.
Yes, of course. Yes, of course.
Yeah, it can
Thank
be
you.
everything.
David?
Sure.
I'm actually full. This was really filling too.
Yes,
Oh my
we
God.
still have
That's-
dessert coming.
Oh my
so.
God.
I always have to
Yeah.
have room for
Would you
dessert.
mind sharing the soup recipe?
Oh
Not at
yeah,
all.
of course.
I'm actually working on writing. I learned it and I'm perfecting it like my way, and I'm writing up my own recipe for it. We're working on an online recipe book. So my crackers are in it, and a lot of the dishes that Kim makes. And this is in it. She has to make a recipe for her sauce. So. We're writing what true raw means and what true raw is, because all of the raw things that we found are not truly raw. And a lot of the raw cookbooks, they're like, oh, put it in the freezer for 30 minutes. They're like, oh, we use nutritional yeast even though it's not truly raw, or things like that. So we want to go for, mainly it's like what's alive. We really only want to eat things that are alive.
Have the light vibration.
Yeah, it's no death in the food.
Nutritional yeast actually is super bad for you. It's ends up creating, it's chemically processed, and they don't add MSG, but in the process, many of them, and so it's an I don't know, it excites the cells in your brain and gets it, it's an addictive thing. And they tell you, they tell vegans, you need it for your B vitamins, and it's totally harming the brain. So yeah, and so many of the raw recipes that I looked up call for nutritional yeast.
Interesting.
Yeah,
And so we've been doing our research for a while and practicing.
Thank you.
yeah.
Nutritional yeast is not raw, right?
What, nutritional yeast? No, it's not. Even we at first were going to do fermented foods, and we learned that those aren't even good for you. We made a bunch of sauerkraut and these pickles, and
for you.
well, if you're eating meat and need the help to digest that kind of heavy foods, but then they can benefit the gut, but we don't need it because we've totally cleansed our body systems, to that level where, you know, when we don't have anything bad that our bodies are needing to process. We're not taking in any chemicals, any, you know, nothing that's...
And so with cooked food, your body needs certain probiotics to help digest that. And we found that cooked food is one of the causes of inflammation. And so taking that cooked food out, the inflammation isn't there, the pain's not there. The body's totally different. I mean, like, you know, sometimes I still have like muscle soreness and I still have some pain, but it's not like waking up every day with my joints inflamed and feeling the pain as I was. It's a huge difference. And so we're enjoying it we've been practicing eating the different ways for a while, and this way Kim found it in one of our books. Really resonated.
And it's working.
Yeah.
That's important.
Yeah. We're understanding more. We already have 4 people or so that want to join us in a retreat to help guide them through it. And it's something that people can do themselves too, but we want to do like a retreat where we help them fast, but mainly like leave it up to them, you know, just kind of guide them along the way, and then help them to eat and prepare and make food for the transition. And so we're building the courses online for that and all sorts of things. Our website has a bunch of courses available.
What I found is most of the medicines people go and they have a journey and then they go home and they do the same shit. And so with the fasting, after you do make that big of a commitment and you're like cleansing your body like that, and you see how much shit is still coming out of your body after 7 days of not eating anything, you know, your colon is stuck with all this stuff, you don't want to put anything bad into it again. It's a different level of commitment. And I think almost combining that maybe even with the Iboga, because Iboga, most people aren't that hungry. Their body's wanting to heal, and fasting's the most healing thing. So if you combine Iboga with the fasting, that would be really, you know, instead of trying to feed them wonderful foods, like have them go more inward. And I think
or do more
I was thinking about
coconut water, and lighter things if they feel like they want to have something.
Well, it would be a bigger commitment. If they, because what I found, I'm telling you, no matter what medicine it is, a lot of times people, they'll do whatever. They go and they have an experience, and then they go home and they just do the same shit.
And then,
even with Iboga.
Totally. And then food. The idea of us needing food to survive is just a belief.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because fruitarians.
Yeah.
Right? So,
And we're getting more and more, dropping more and more things. Like we're already starting to drop grains next. We still have some quinoa and some garbanzos that we've been sprouting, but we're going to drop those out of our process also, and just kind of go towards breatharian, go towards like just making fruit juices, just fruit juices. And see, we're taking our time. We have a friend who was a fruitarian, and that's all she would do. She would strain her fruit so she had no fiber, so she had the least amount of energy going towards her digestion. But she started to get anemic. She didn't do the big fast and the cleanse, so I don't know if that has something to do with it, but now she eats like chia seeds and hemp seeds.
I love hemp seeds and chia seeds. They're like my daily things.
Me too, I love both of those.
Yeah.
They're amazing. Chia seed pudding, so easy to make. And we were doing it with oats. We still have some oats too, where we were transitioning from oat milk to almond milk. And then we were transitioning from almond milk to like macadamia and another nut. Right now.
Cashew.
Cashew.
good.
It's like
It's
like this.
it's
like curved.
and then it's like a seed.
Yeah. And I made cheese out of cashew and cashews, lemon, and macadamia nuts.
Wow.
And just
That would
blend
be
it up in
yummy.
salt. The cheese is so
Only
amazing.
those 3 ingredients?
Yeah.
cashew, macadamia, and lemon.
and some salt.
But you're soaking the macadamia?
Yeah.
So
We soak them to kind of sprout them to get them past that point,
And the
then just
cashews.
blend them up really good. Yeah, we soak them together. We have some of that cheese you can try a little later.
what was that, the cheese that we had in the soup, or what was that?
No, that was cashew Gouda that we bought at the farmers market. When the farmers market's done, they always have stuff at the farmers market. It's like called the La Cruz Market.
Oh, the La Cruz market.
Yeah, it's a little shop over.
Okay, not the big
Crucerias.
market, but like the little shop. I think I've
Yeah.
seen that,
Yeah, that one. And so she ordered some and we tried it again. But we actually like the cheese we made better, so we probably won't be getting that stuff again. They
You
said it
probably
was
want to
raw.
start selling it to them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
you
thinking
could
about
start selling
maybe making the
crackers
crackers and
Yeah.
packaging them up and selling them
Oh,
there.
they could.
That was an idea.
There's a
too.
demand for alternatives.
Yeah, and I think like there was no real raw places even in Portland. In Portland, there's hundreds of vegan places and tons of vegetarian places and things like that. And we found one that had raw stuff on their menu, but it wasn't. Like they had nutritional yeast. They had the cake was frozen
Yeah,
at one
and raw
point and stuff like
cheesecake, and then I
that.
asked them about it, and they said they had frozen it because I was looking up all these cheesecake recipes. I'm like, well, I'm gonna make this, and each one said to freeze it, and so I asked them, and they're like, oh yeah, we freeze it, and I'm like,
Cold pressed oil is like what is raw, but most places don't use that.
cold
It's
pressed
she
just
is
regular.
decorating.
processed oil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of stuff is.
Thank you for giving her.
Yeah.
It has
She
been
said, "Can I decorate?" I'm like, "Yes, of
Those
course."
juices and things have been pasteurized. So here is great. We found some really
It's
amazing
like a protein,
fruit.
right?
Got tons,
Yeah.
perfect. Tons of avocados. I'm doing flower pot composting. I fill that with compost and then I put dirt and flowers in it. And it just continues to compost.
And where do you pour it after?
I just leave it in there and it continues to compost in there. And then if we do a bunch of vegetables and they're done, then I can dump that out and stir it into another flower pot. It's a technique I did a long time ago.
You're welcome for decorating it.
Thank
That
you.
looks amazing, Leila. Thank you for decorating. That's what we need, positive engagement. Thank you, Leila. That's amazing.
Wow. Thank you for this amazing feast. Mhm.
I feel so lucky.
And you guys look amazing. Yeah. Like you can see the relaxation in your skin, the good energy that you guys have.
I feel better than I ever have felt. I ended up doing this fast twice. I read this book, it's the Seeing Gospel of Peace, over a year ago, and I was like, it just resonated with me. I'm like, this is the way. And then I told David about it, and he's like, I don't want to do that. And I was like, oh God, it's gonna be too hard by myself, you know.
Fasting? Was it-
Fasting and then eating raw. So I was like, oh, if he's not on board, you know, like how am I gonna do this?
This is so good.
It's avocado,
Oh
the
my
cacao that we processed, and honey, and then nuts and dates for the crust, and that's it. Yeah. Isn't it just like so decadent? And it's all raw.
Do you guys have like a computer or a laptop at home?
At home, yes.
We have a spot on our website that we're working on right now, and it's courses. And right now we have a bunch of different courses. We have it set up with a password protect so people could donate to get to the point of seeing our courses, so that way we can keep the website going and stuff. But I'd like to give you guys free access to it so you guys could check it out and tell us what you think, you know.
Thank you.
There's a place to leave reviews or want to comment on how delicious this food is.
Yeah.
Let us know where.
We do have our fasting guide on there right now, and right now we're working on our true raw guide. I'm going to be putting it up soon, and we'll just keep adding to it.
So this, it took me a year before I finally jumped in, and then the universe. He went off to Mauritius. My passport got held up. Then my friend that I was staying with, she came here to Mexico, and so I was in her tiny home by myself with no one to cook for, no one to, you know, and I was like, I have no excuse now. I run out of them.
You're on your own, so.
So I just like,
no
I
gas.
was like, yeah, I was like, fine, I'm gonna do it. And so I just did the fast and enema cleanse on my own, and I noticed such a difference in my body. everything was working just so efficiently afterwards. And I was going through menopause. You know, I'm a grandma now, and I was starting to miss some of my menstrual cycles and having the night sweats. I don't have that now. After I did this cleanse and purified my body, I no longer have that. It's a huge, it's like turning back the clock.
Totally.
When you're eating life, it's live. When you're not,
It gives you life.
yes, it gives you life. When you're
Life
eating
gives you
things
life.
that cooked and that it's death, and you are, it's fine if you choose to do that. There's no judgment, but you are you're speeding the clock up on
Do you
how
know-
long you will have.
Did you know that you can live 1,000 years if you choose to?
Yeah, you can. I mean, we're infinite,
know.
eternal beings. We're
In this
eternal.
life too, while enjoying all other lives. Because once you get into your true self, then you will be able to enjoy this life plus all the others. And then you will be able to enjoy it from every angle. You'll be able to enjoy it from her perspective, my perspective, all of our perspectives at once.
Yeah.
And in other planets. Yeah. So,
But I do think our physical bodies, there are limits. Like you see people, the choices they make to putting stuff in their bodies, they are going to act out in disease. If they're consuming processed foods,
I came to the opposite conclusion.
yeah, I can see that. And
And then,
I
yeah,
tend to believe more this way.
I know you do.
But I respect and
I
honor,
know.
and I'm eager to see how you end up.
yeah, I know. Me too. Me too. Like, okay, you can think whatever you want. Let's see what happens. We'll see.
Time will
That's
tell.
how I get. Time will tell.
Time will tell. Oh my God.
We'll see who's right, Miguel.
I know. I was
Yeah.
looking at Windhoek because he injects his body with venom, right? He did a marathon in the deserts without water. He
Climbed
climbs Everest without anything. He has held I don't know how many hours without changing his core temperature in the cold. And to him, God is the cold. And he said himself, and to me, of course it is. It's obvious. Of course it is. Everything is God. Of course.
Yeah.
But then once you actually see it, then that happened to me the last journey I had.
So-
and I saw everything now. God in everything.
It is. God is in everything. Yes. I would be curious what you, if you read the book,
I haven't.
right, you haven't. But if we
If
said,
we were to
here,
read it,
Miguel,
yes.
read this, and tell us what you think after you read this.
I have a question.
Okay, wait. Let her finish and then you do your question. Okay, what book was it?
It's the Essene Gospel of Peace. And supposedly it was from the Dead Sea Scrolls where Yeshua was teaching people how to rid their body of disease.
Okay.
Any disease.
Okay.
That in your body you have, from eating things like processed foods, sugar, meat, these things, you get parasites, and those parasites are actually like living entities. He calls them demons in the book. That will tell you that you need certain things. It will say, "Yeah, go. You need this."
More French fries, David. Eat more French fries.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They take over your consciousness.
Yeah,
in a
exactly.
way.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Yeah.
and then the meditator friend that I have, who was doing the breatharianism, she was explaining how each thing, like even grains, have a consciousness that comes with when you eat grains, and even when you eat seeds, there's a certain consciousness that comes like that. And when you eat fruit, there's a certain consciousness that comes with that too. It's all
It's true.
affects it.
Yeah.
So what I know about that is that yes, everything has a spirit, everything is good. But here's the thing, everything is good. Once you will experience the good in everything, you will experience the good in everything. So then you take a piece of meat, God forbid for you. Take a piece of meat. Once you have that special connection, then you get to see God in there, and you get to see the transformation in God and how much God loves you. For you to try these different flavors, these different textures, all of these, so then you can take all the goodness of it on everything. The moment that you see something as bad, you feel it in your mind, and you get to have that experience. That's why we're here. We're here to experience everything that you want to experience.
Yep.
The moment you take the bad out of things, the things disappear. That's why people can inject venom to themselves and don't get hurt. That's how people can eat glass and don't get hurt. That's how people can smoke cigarettes, 90 years old, and say, oh, I can never, and they still run and still be healthy. That's how people don't get skin cancer. They just don't have those negative beliefs. So if you get rid of the negative beliefs, you get rid of the disease, the source of the disease. It's just a thought.
That's it.
We
That's
create with
it.
our beliefs.
Yes, we do. You're right. I do believe that. But I also do not believe that most people that, okay, here in Mexico, I have seen, it's just an observation. I'm not saying this is a scientific study. I'm not saying anything. This is my observation. Many people drink a lot of Coca-Cola.
Oh, plenty.
Yeah.
I just started
And
drinking
they're
it too.
and a lot of them are really overweight and not, like they don't look like they feel that good.
But we have a friend that has a pyramid that she puts the Coca-Cola under it, so it doesn't affect her that way, she says. But it doesn't appear that way from the visual.
The last time, yeah, when
Is it working?
it doesn't appear to be.
The belief system might be
Well,
there.
yeah, someone might have a certain belief system, and then when I see them, I can see their the energy of their temple, and I can tell the difference.
Of
I can
course.
tell.
Yeah.
Of course.
I can spot vegetarians. Like I used
Yeah.
to work in a government office, and almost everybody ate meat. And I saw somebody immediately, her energy was different. I'm like, she's gotta be either vegan or at least vegetarian. And I just randomly asked her, and he's like, oh yeah, I am. How did you know? And I'm like,
You can tell.
tell.
Yes,
The energy,
It's
it's
different.
written on the body.
Yes, and I agree. I agree, and so yeah.
Yes.
Everything manifests in its natural way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that there's good, it's right or wrong or good or bad, but
So it's
eating
easy.
life is going to give you more life, and if you eat things that are dead, then I believe it will break the body down faster. And that's been my experience in watching and observing humanity and their bodies. As they age, they think that these things are just natural occurrences, this disease and different things that happen. And they don't necessarily think, oh, the things they're eating are bad, because they haven't been taught that. They're just eating the stuff, stuff that they're told, pizza and pop and all the,
Strawberries? Is there,
and
if there's strawberries
they
on
don't
the
necessarily
table,
have a belief it's bad.
So,
But they're still experiencing disease.
yeah, but
So
what I
how do you
have
explain that?
what I have come to find out is that any physical problem,
Are you gonna share those, Lila?
the root
Well,
of any
And if
physical.
not, I'm not going to
your mom might want some. You can have some.
Do you guys want more?
I'm
No, I'm good.
Thank you. So what I found out is that any physical problem, you can heal it. Of course, you can change your diet. You can change your job. You can change anything out here, and then it could touch that side. But then, if you don't change the belief system that created that, it's just like patching the roof of a leak, but not getting the pipe that has the leak. So you can put the strongest patch in this area, and it will not leak from here, but then it will leak from over there because the source is not there, and the source is just a negative thought. That's it. I just received a link from somebody who got healed from cancer in 3 minutes just with that much. Because that's how powerful we are. We can heal everything, become younger in seconds if we choose to, but we don't have that trust in ourselves.
We
And
can
that's what it
manifest
takes.
whatever we
Yeah.
want in our
Yeah.
hand.
Yeah, so
if we
everything, what
do
I'm
the
trying to
right
say,
Yeah,
everything
yeah,
that
yeah.
you're manifesting through all these cleanses, through all this food and stuff, you can also manifest it in seconds.
Yes,
Also, I'm not saying
I
that it's
agree.
not working.
I
I'm
agree.
saying that it works,
This
for
is
sure.
one thing that I would say for that. Most people do not have that level of consciousness to do that, I would say, and so, but they would believe doing something like this
Yes.
more than just like, if I think it, it'll be.
No. You have to experience it to know.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
have to
yeah.
know because otherwise you keep saying, "Oh, I'm more powerful than him," but if you don't have the experience, if you don't know it,
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
just
yeah.
lying to myself.
Yeah.
I cannot do anything. I'm
Yeah.
powerless. Woo!
Yeah.
Even we're working
See,
on
you-
that process.
see, yeah.
It's not like we're there.
Oh, no. But
Yeah,
now,
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
now, but now I've been,
Right.
I've been
We
there
all
for
are,
3
yeah.
weeks in a row.
I'm looking for
Yeah. Yeah. That's okay. Thank you for letting me.
that. You?
Yeah, it's a practice.
Yeah. But yes, everything works, and your path is the one of that attracts yourselves, and you have passion in this, and I love it. And you're creating amazing recipes. I love your food.
Yeah.
I like, oh my God, this is something like, mi amor, you're not gonna finish it?
So it's all yours.
Yeah, no, this is marvelous, and it's part of your creativity because you're
It is, we're really-
experimenting,
yeah,
and
yeah,
that's giving you power as a creator.
Yeah.
So that's your godly power expressed in an art form of culinary art.
And bringing light to the world.
Yeah, you know, it's David. Before this, you know, I was the one that was always just doing the cooking and whatever, and now he is in there just as much as me. He's creating and doing things, and yeah, it's been fun for us. We've really enjoyed it. And
She just assumed I couldn't cook from the beginning, and I just let her run with that assumption and let her get all the food she wanted.
I'm off the hook.
and now you're like, oh, you can now. He's got
I was
yeah.
working full time then too, so it's always been good balance.
This is such a cute couple.
Yeah.
We never spent barely any time apart until like I went to Mauritius. We hadn't even spent like 2
Yeah.
days apart.
And
Yeah,
then
the
over
mushroom
6
ceremony was
weeks.
the only time we spent apart. It was like overnight.
How was that?
You know,
Since
it
I'm not for
was
so
it was
long.
very challenging. Like at first, okay, so I thought, okay, so I found out what happened. You know, with the passport thing. Someone told me they were gonna do something, they didn't do it, and I was like, well, okay, worst case. I always like to say, think of worst case scenario. I'm like, okay, worst case scenario. This is what I have to do. It's okay. I'll just do it, even though it really made me mad because someone said they were gonna do something and didn't do it. And that was a frustration, obviously, but I was like, well, does a leopard change its spots? You know? No, not usually. So but then the universe like blocked me. I couldn't do it in that, I couldn't get it done in time to go with him. Like
So then
that's
I was
how
like,
long
maybe
it
it'll
took.
take a week. Maybe it'll take a week. Maybe next week. Maybe she'll be able to get it next week. Maybe she'll get the clearance next week. Maybe she'll
It
get the
took
clearance next
6
Oh
weeks.
my God.
Or 7, maybe 7. You came
Oh
home in
my
6
God.
weeks, and then I got it the next week. So
You were,
it took
by the
7
time
weeks.
you were back, you
Yeah.
had it.
Yeah, by the time he came back, so I wasn't meant to
We
go.
were gonna go meet in India. Once my teacher said that he couldn't teach us, then it was like, okay, well, we can go to India. You know, we can go.
Everyone always asks us,
cruise
have
around
you been
there.
to India? Have you? And we're like, not in this lifetime.
And I was already on that side of the world, so it's like, well, she can fly to Mumbai, and I'll fly to Mumbai, and then we'll just spend a couple of years there, exploring and checking things out. And then we got the call for Mexico, and our friend needed some help here, and we're like,
Yeah.
okay.
We're on it.
And then I flew back, like after a few days of hearing that, I flew back to the United States to be with her,
Yeah.
and then we flew down here.
Wonderful.
And what did you guys learn from your time apart?
That we can be happy no matter what. Like I was, you know,
What?
I
You can
was
be
with
happy
Iboga.
without him by your side? Yeah, there you
Figure it out.
go.
I learned that happiness is an inside job. There's nothing external that can make me happy or sad. You know,
It was just what we needed to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The,
I'd never traveled alone. I'd never been like that far or done that by myself. I haven't really like been on an airplane by myself kind of thing.
So that was
It
an
always-
adventure.
Yeah, so it was a really good adventure.
yeah.
Wow.
And it, you know, it was good for both of us. We learned. It felt like the universe just kept giving me lesson after lesson. Like step up, step up. You know, like people that were just wounded souls that hadn't healed. And I have compassion for them, but sometimes I'm just like, oh, fuck. When it's an adult, you know, when it's an adult and often older than me even, and they're just, you know, still in victim mode and in the, you know, that I just, my patience sometimes could be better, you know. So the universe kept showing me how I could be more patient and more compassionate and so I would just, okay, I'm gonna just do, you know, and I kept getting those lessons, and it was good. I learned a lot in those 6 weeks about myself, and you know, and how everything stems from the mind. Like doing that fast by myself, it was not that hard. I
7
built it up
days.
in my mind, and then it was like when I actually did it, I was like, it wasn't very hard. You know, it was.
And then when we flew here, when we left Portland, it's like, well, we might as well stop eating. The airport food's always horrible, and the airplane food's always horrible, so we might as well start our fast now. And so got here, and we still had 6 days, so we didn't really need to go shopping. We started going some days to start stocking up and start ordering things. And it wasn't so bad.
But I have found though the water does make a difference. I was buying spring water in Oregon, you know, like good, and I had energy, and I wasn't. And here we were drinking the filtered water, and my energy just went. It doesn't have the minerals that.
What kind of water do you filter do you use for?
Well,
For like
my
right
friend
now,
had
what we're
the
using,
big jugs that you get from like whatever.
So,
Yeah.
the old plastic jugs. that we
So we
use.
were drinking that at first, and I noticed my energy just was like not the same as it was before. I was still doing yoga, I was going out dancing, you know, like I had find energy not eating, and except one day when I started my moon time, that was like a double detox, and my energy went for one day, but that was it. And this time, my energy didn't ever feel the same with the water, because there's so many minerals that we need that if the water doesn't have them, then
We bought a water filter down the street that you just pour water in, but it filters everything. It's like a carbon filter, so it filters out the minerals, and it doesn't taste quite as good.
yeah. So we just
And then
use
we
it to wash
found
our
the
vegetables.
Santa Maria spring water, bottled water that we pick up. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty good. And it's
I researched what the
local
best water
spring
was, and it's a spring. It was from a spring,
in
and
Mexico.
you know, and so I was like, well, all right.
I think our filters filter everything. But I want to get water from the aquarium again. Have you gotten water from the aquarium?
I don't know what that is, but I have a friend who has. It sounds sort of like it. It's water from the deep sea. I'll show you.
Yeah, this one's just from the local spring near Sayulita
Oh, I heard about
aquarium.
those.
Yeah.
That would be good to have some containers and go fill it up there. What we do is we take a cab to La Comer, and then we can get big bottles and put them in the
Yeah.
cab and get
So
cab back.
you just put in
Or take the bus there, take the cab back.
a couple tablespoons, you know, in your water, and it has all the magnesium and
That's what Jesus was using, right?
Yes. Deep sea.
I should buy that.
so
How
yeah.
much is the bottle?
I think he sells them for
150.
150 pesos. Is what he was selling them
Our
for.
friend in Lo de Marco, who lives in Lo de Marco at the hostel.
At the Lo de Marco Hotel. Marco at the Lo de
Marco's
Marco.
at the Lo de Marco.
Yeah, Marco at the Lo de Marco at the Lo de Marco hostel.
But I researched this, and from my experience and from researching it, you know, he said, especially here in Mexico, most people, the water is shit, and you're not getting the minerals you need from the water. But I have found, I think, like eating more raw, we're getting a lot of those things, because you know we're juicing, we're getting from the food, you know, we're drinking a lot of juice. I have like orange. I have those 3 juices like going regularly.
I
you
pretty
know,
much
so we
stopped
have
drinking water. I don't really like need to drink water because we're eating so much
fruit.
water.
It has all the water.
So I don't
yeah.
need to have a cup of water, except for to rinse out, like after I have like orange juice or something else that's very citrusy, I'll rinse out with that. And then we use it for the good stuff. We use the filtered water most of the time for washing vegetables or most cooking, but some cooking.
But like the soup and stuff, we'll put in the Santa Maria water, you know.
much of this do you use? A little capful?
That's
It's like 2 tablespoons.
Something like that.
Yeah. What is that? 2 tablespoons.
So this one's lasted us a while already.
Yeah, because since we've been on this route. But if I were to do the fast again, I would definitely get this.
That's what we will have when we
Yeah.
do our retreats. We'll have some of that available, so we can utilize that.
Either that or some really good spring water, because yeah, the water here in Mexico, I have.
I've been getting messages I need to get better water.
Oh, congratulations! Oh my goodness!
Congratulations.
Wow!
But my body's been telling me things it needs.
Yeah.
Better water was one of the
Yeah,
things.
Santa Maria is like.
Yeah, the Santa Maria is from a spring.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Oh my gosh! I know you guys wanted a big family.
Yes.
You didn't think you were gonna have any more, though.
Not at all. I didn't think. I was like, thinking menopause was coming next. It's 42. The Iboga makes you really regenerated.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
Wow. So this was a surprise.
Yes, so she complained to me. And I was happy. I'm like,
In the beginning, I was like, I had a whole other plan. What?
then once
That's
she
some
come,
Mauritius food.
Then I
If you wanna
calmed
check
down.
it out.
Then I got accepted.
and when she come down, I told her, oh, you so have two now. Because we already had experience of single children, so then may as well have two, so they can play with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is she happy?
Yeah,
The first few hours
Yeah.
she was crying actually.
Oh, yes.
Like that, you maybe will get more attention than me.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh.
But then
Then
now
she's
it's
happy.
So how far along are you?
Probably a little over 2 months. My phone's broken and it has all my data on the dates and everything.
Oh yeah.
So I'm waiting for him to fix it.
for the universe
Universe.
to do its
My
thing.
husband.
Well, everything's God, so he's God.
It's
So.
I
five.
don't exactly know the date.
5 what?
Over 2 months.
Like it's like lower than a peso. It's pretty
Yay!
crazy.
Would you like some water?
They have like
Actually, sure.
a
Yeah.
1 rupee coin. It's a Mauritius rupee, and that's like 5.05 of the
Oh,
Mauritius
okay,
rupee.
okay.
And you can't, it's not even useful. You can't even use it for anything. That is like,
Has more value on the metal.
yeah, it would take hundreds of those to equal a penny.
Oh.
Like probably 200 of those would equal a penny. Oh no, those are nickels, so not quite 200. But it's really crazy. So in Mauritius, there was like the exchange ratio was pretty amazing. It was like 42, I think it was at. So a US dollar was worth 42 rupees.
So you were rich,
So
sir.
So $1 could get you 8 street tacos, pretty much. They made like, it was called dal puri, so it was like some sort of tortilla, but it wasn't, and they had like a curry sauce that they throw in it. Most of it was like Indian tradition. Most of them were like Indians or slave descendants.
Purificadora de agua Tecumán hasta la puerta de su
And
hogar.
then there was a lot of Muslims also. There was a lot of mosques in every town.
That was quite an adventure.
Yeah, for sure. He warned me so much. He was all afraid. They were all afraid of me walking down the street by myself, and they were worried. They told me not to go down certain streets and only to stick to certain ways and not to leave early. And I think if that all that was true or not, Kimberly would have put us both into more danger. And like, not allowed to go shirtless, not allowed to wear shorts without underwear, like all these crazy rules and stuff, and it was pretty. So Kim, she's just pretty slow,
Yes.
and so
I don't follow rules.
I think it would have been more of an issue if she did go there.
Yeah.
In many different ways.
So the universe
In
said,
trouble
like,
from the
you know what,
teacher
you
and-
need time apart. This is the perfect place to have parties.
It worked
Time
out. The
apart.
universe
Yes,
set it
yes,
up
yes.
perfectly. Yeah.
Wow.
So I found a little vegan restaurant and got to visit that a few times. They had some really good vegan sushi. It was cooked food. It was some of the last cooked food I had. Yeah, it was.
And then you noticed
They
that
were making me food every day. They were like twice a day they'd bring me a whole plate of all sorts of food. I'd be like, no, less rice, and she'd give me twice as much rice. Yeah.
and then you figured out that that you did not want to continue to study to become a priest, right?
Yes. Yes.
And what was the biggest realization why you don't need it? Because you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
The becoming a brahmachari is the path of suffering. You choose to put yourself in hardship and suffering. You choose to sleep on the floor. You choose to be the poorest of the poor. You choose to tie a rope around your waist so you can't lay on your back because of the knot. You choose to not expel your semen. You choose to take this path of suffering, pretty much. So once I really understood that, no, thank you. And it was the way of, like, he said, like, he was teaching me the Gayatri mantra to pronounce it perfectly. I love that part of it. Then he was teaching me to say it 240,000 times, 8 hours a day, 24 mantras a day, uttering this. And he said, you know, no, the mantra doesn't really matter. It's how you feel afterwards. It's that oneness and that connection that you feel with God afterwards. I'm like, teacher, like, I've been there for a while. I always feel that. I am in that state. I don't need to say the Gayatri mantra 240,000 times so I can feel that. I am that. I feel that already. And I did the mantra, and I was doing it every morning, and I'm feeling afterwards. I'm like, yeah, I'm already there. That's like how I feel. And so it's like it wasn't necessary. And then he's like, then he started telling me the difference of the path of spirituality and then the path of materialism, and how his path is the path of materialism. And well, he was like arguing with me, like, well, what, like, why? He's like, no, but this is the path of materialism, but you're talking about spiritual path, and it's both connected in a way, of course, but the path of spirituality is different. And he's saying, like, it's not the material. I was like, yeah, well, that's where I want to go. That's where I'm going. That's where I'm at. I don't need to step back and burn things for needing things. I'm not going to burn stuff to receive wealth. I don't need stuff.
That's what he's doing. He's trying to do yagyas in order to get money.
Not just, he does them for everybody. For everything. He doesn't do it for himself to get money because he's in the path of suffering where he's not allowed to have money. He can't have too much stuff. He's not allowed to. He's a brahmacharya.
Yeah.
And that was the
Would you like
path
some
that I was
water,
looking
Miguel, or-
towards, what I was telling him.
Would you like some water?
And it's a path
Yes,
of
please.
choosing hardship and choosing to be suffering and choosing materialism, and I chose not to.
Yeah. Choosing happiness too.
He was explaining, I'm good. Yeah, just a little mouth rinse would be great. He was showing me how, just, yeah. I saw through it. It wasn't my path. But I found my path. I knew by the time I was done there that mindfulness is my path. Mindfulness is where I'm at. I read this. It led me to this, it led me to this, it led me to this. And this showed me that what I need to do is, what I need to practice is just mindfulness. And I've been practicing that for 20 years, but taking it to another level and really like practice. So I wrote up a whole guide because that helps me. Teaching it helps me. And I have that guide on my Amazon page, and now it's on our website, and I'll share it with you guys. And I'll be adding more and more onto it. But it's about the present. The present, being present, and the present is the present.
Being present.
The present is the present.
Present.
That's present.
And I've said that 5 different ways, and they all sound amazing like that one.
I like that.
And I just finished my last book that I wrote, and I just published it yesterday.
Congratulations.
So I had a hard copy book, paperback, and that had like books 2 and 3 in it, and I just published book 4. So I republished my book with book 4 into it, and then I published book 4 also separately. And the last one I just wrote is called Inside Heaven's Door. So after all of the adventures in Mexico and all my adventures in my life,
Even Iboga was in there in the last
there's a
one.
lot. It talks about Iboga and my adventure with that. But on another page, what I've learned is, well, it's like my medicine path, my medicine ceremonies, all the different ceremonies I went through. And what I've realized now is ayahuasca is cooked. It's not necessary for me to serve ayahuasca anymore. It's not necessary for me to be an ayahuasca teacher. It's not necessary for me to receive ayahuasca. With with bringing in the angel of air into my body also, and the air, water, and the sun, I no longer, we stopped smoking when we left. Before I went to Mauritius, I stopped smoking. And so I don't want to smoke anymore, so I'm not going to do any more cannabis or cannabis massages. I'm not going to do any more bufo ceremonies. I was going to maybe do some ceremonies when I got here, 3 different smoking ceremonies, and then I prayed on it, I meditated on it, I mindfulnessed it. I put it into my front of my mind and thought about it and realized that I don't want to inhale anything. It's been touched by fire, and so I don't want to do that. And then I'm not sure about the mushroom ceremony still, because that's part of the community and that's part of hanging out. I decided that I don't want an ice bath because that's taking me to a cold temperature of the body, and the angels of everything help keep me in balance now. I decided not to do the Temazcal. We did one last week, but now I decided not to go for those extremes that way, to keep the balance in this path and finding that
we
balance.
don't drink anything hot.
I've been Temazcaling
you know,
for 25
really
years,
cold or-
sweat lodge and Temazcaling, and I believe that that's not needed
beautiful.
anymore. Before I flew to Mauritius, I burnt almost all of my animal medicines, almost all of my medicines. I had my staff of spiritual authority with the eagle feathers that my ancestors or my elders gave me, and all the feathers that the animals gave me, and all the feathers, and I burnt it and stuck it
Your
in the
teacher
fire.
would be so
and
proud
my
of you.
rattles, and I just burnt it all. Yeah. But it wasn't burnt.
The fire, yeah, oh,
But
yeah.
I wasn't burning it to receive.
I know,
it.
I know, I
burning
know.
it to release.
I know, I
And
know.
my light and my load, my rattles, everything, and it was such a big light. And so
It's like that path of not needing it.
Yeah.
Right.
Outside of you.
And
Like,
so
we are the
Iboga is
medicine.
not cooked.
No.
It's not touched by the fire. And so that
That is
in
wrong.
my mindfulness, Iboga and mushrooms
still
are
float.
still in process of possibilities of what to do next. Now it's why. What do I want? What am I trying to gain at? Why would I want to do that? Like why I would want to do the mushroom ceremonies is because I can get to share my love and energy at the fire with all of the brothers in the brother ceremony that we do with mushrooms and that way. And it'd be me being able to serve in that way, because I am put in service when I am helping out with the mushroom ceremonies. I am in service with my whole heart fully with the women and the men's mushroom ceremonies. So I'm seeing that as like a good reason.
I thought that you told me that you got the mushrooms now.
No, I said
Oh.
ayahuasca. I said I wasn't sure.
Oh.
I'm still like going through and seeing if it's necessary. I still have more questions to ask before I step into that one.
You're in a beautiful, gorgeous adventure in your life. I love that. I love to see that contrast, and I love to hear where you're going.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And I love,
been wild.
I love the contrast too, because I have completely the opposite. Yet I have lots of love and inspiration to see you following your passion, which is the key.
Yeah.
Which is the key. So, and in that path, you're going to learn so many amazing things that I have no idea what. And neither do you. And there will be many surprises, beautiful surprises.
Well, you know, it's interesting because I love serving ayahuasca. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed it. And we had just spent a year down here learning Cambo and Bufo.
Yeah.
So I thought this is our path. And then when we did Iboga, we were like, oh, this is like all of the medicines combined. Maybe this one's. And then we just kept getting blocks. Like with the Iboga, you know, got a block there. We had planned to go, and then we had scheduled an ayahuasca ceremony before David was going to go to Mauritius with some friends who wanted to do it, and then one of them got some Bell palsy, and the person hosting didn't get back to me. Things just, and then, you know, I kept putting out there, we have some Cambo to serve, anyone who's interested, this is a detox, you know, and I would, a couple bites here and there, and then nothing. Like, and so I'm like, and this is not a belief I have that the medicine's bad, Miguel, so it's not even, do you understand?
You did not read my mind.
yeah.
You did not read my mind. I wasn't thinking that.
I was like, I'm just, because, you know, this is how we were even making money, you know, and so I'm putting out there, we're creating, and it's just block, 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 and I'm like, what the, for lack of a better
Yes,
word.
yes, yes, yes.
And then
I have something really good to say.
so then this whole thing came about with finally, you know, the universe like gifted me this time to do this fast and all, and I realized after all of that this is what takes the real commitment, like your mind and everything, to do that big of a commitment, a 7-day thing, where I saw so many people do these ceremonies, and then maybe they had a great experience, and maybe they saw that we're one, but then they go back to their regular life and they just keep doing the same things. And this is different.
Totally.
This is
Totally.
And it's free. Like you
And
can
it's
do it
free.
yourself. You
Anyone
don't
can
save
do
money.
it.
No,
because you're not buying
yeah, I was going to
food,
say,
yeah.
actually, you get to save money. It's not just free.
Yeah,
You get
When
to
you
save
say
money.
this is
money.
different, are you talking about like the mindfulness combined with like raw food, like that?
yeah,
no,
the
she's
cleanse.
talking
seven,
about
seven, 7 days without food.
7-day fasting enema cleanse, and honoring the
And
different
sunbathing.
angels, because you do nude sunbathing every day too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that
Where,
you're
where,
getting-
where do we subscribe?
Yeah.
I'm wondering if there's a group.
Yeah. David and I just did it on top of the roof. You know,
Every
like
day we go and do
10
something.
minutes
We
each,
still
10,
do it
15
every
minutes
day,
each
Sunday
side,
night.
so that you're getting that energy from the sun.
Don't need it. It's like a meal. You know.
Yeah, I just feel so amazing just doing that, and all my body parts getting the sun, you know, instead of with a bathing suit, you're just getting a little here. But yeah, it's really good.
I have one last little piece of information that I just learned recently within the last, I guess, couple of weeks from Iboga. Well, plus the trip that I went in Gabon, and then it makes sense to everything. It just simplifies it, because me, I'm not into any hard commitments. That's why, you know, the 10-day retreats that I was running, I loved them, but it was too much work.
It's a big commitment.
I'm like, fuck that. I'm not into that. I'm like, forget it. I'm like, and if we are gods, we should be able to get all of this like this. Like, we should not take 10 days. So then now all I do is microdosing. And then so, because why?
You do some full doses.
I do some
maximum
dosing,
3
but,
days or something.
but maximum 3 days. So I give more than what I could give back then in 10 days, because I learn a lot more during this time.
Yeah.
So now people take a lot more in a lot of time, and then other
They
things,
take more medicine?
they take way less medicine.
Okay.
They take a fraction of the
Fraction,
medicine.
okay.
Like at most I have given was in a the latest in a microdose. The most I have given is maybe a third of a spoon,
Mm-hmm.
and
You
so,
don't
and I
guided
do it
meditation.
and I do it without the Iboga too, because we don't need Iboga.
Over
we
the
have the
phone,
power.
somebody in the
Yeah.
picture over the phone.
And
Cool.
in 3 days of 3 phone calls, she was bipolar, addicted to prescription pills. After the first phone call, she quit the prescription pills without anything, and then alcohol, she wasn't ready to let go of it, but then it helped her a lot.
I totally believe it with all the wisdom that you gained through your path. I'm fully sure that you could just talk to people
Yeah.
with the information, the way that
Yeah.
you talk and what you know. You
Maybe
can
Iboga energy.
dissect
through it.
and break
Yeah.
down
Yeah.
their psyche.
Yeah,
So,
that's
so,
great.
so the latest thing that I learned is that in fact we do create a reality.
Yes.
Now, this is something that we knew before, but I hadn't integrated. So now I also learn what integration means to me. Integration to me means knowing how is done, how I can apply it in everyday situations and every time. So that how, and having with certitude, knowing the exit too. I mean, what's the end result going to be like? So it's fully integrated. Like I know how I can create my future. Before I knew it was a concept of how I can create the future. But then, if it's a concept, if it's true that we create a future, then I needed to know how I created my past. Because things did not just happen to me. I created them.
Yes.
but I could not see how I created them.
Yes.
So I hadn't integrated that part.
Ah.
So because I hadn't integrated how nothing blocked me, nothing happened to me, nothing was bad, everything happened for my benefit, but I'm like, that doesn't seem for my benefit. Once I realized the how, then it just allowed myself to simplify my life. And
So,
the how,
some things though, I don't feel like I'm creating, like the
because you don't know
blocks.
how you are doing it. That's the only reason why. Because you don't know how you're doing it. That's the missing link on your integration. Therefore, you still find that there is something out there happening, making things happen to you or for you. When the reality is, at all times, you are creating your own reality at all times. So if you are able to find out how you did create your own reality in the past, everything, absolutely everything,
Yes.
those blocks were your own. Once you realize that, then you realize how much power you have. Then now you can just choose, instead of creating blocks, to create trampolines to get to the next, or to create fast tracks. Choose.
Yeah, I would really like to, because it still feels like at some points, you know, like, okay, maybe it's still me, yeah, but creating
I know.
creating these tests or whatever for me to learn from or go through, or, you know.
So I can give you the answer.
And like the way of the Tao is just to just be. It's not like
What does
if
that
you're
mean?
creating, if you're just being grateful for whatever is.
Yeah, but like if you keep getting roadblocks, how can you be grateful for all those roadblocks if you're not having the life that you want, if you're not having the manifestations that you want? How are you going to be grateful for all of that? You can be grateful if you realize that, hey, I chose that and I manifested it. Good for me. I'm grateful that I'm that powerful, that I'm all powerful, and I chose to experience not having the power. And I use all my power to experience not having the power. Good for me. Now I'm going to choose to experience the power that I do have to create the things that I do prefer, and no more suffering.
The only suffering, though, comes from our thoughts, which are, if we're not happy with something, if you can be happy with anything, then there's no suffering.
Well, you are correct on that. You are 100% correct on that. But the thing is that there is nothing bad in this world unless we choose to, but we're attached
But
to
I'm not saying
to
it's
the-
bad or good. It's just there's no suffering if you know, if you're
If you
happy
see the
with
good in
anything,
everything.
then there's no suffering.
It's like there are no obstacles because Ganesh already removed them. And there are absolutely no obstacles on your path. There's just the path.
Yeah.
And whatever
But
your
you know-
path is what you've created.
That's the one. The path is what you created. So if you don't like the path that you own, you can change it.
I would
Because
like
you have free will.
I'd like this path here to be created paved so we're not getting as much dust in the face.
You can create that. The only difficulty is the
It
following.
happened.
No.
But it
No,
happened when we were here last time. The road started getting paved. The road got paved at our other house.
So
We were up there.
Watch it get paved soon.
No, here is the thing. You could literally, just to know how powerful you are, which I know that you are, and I am, and we all are, everyone is, but we don't believe we are. So because we don't believe we are, that's the strongest one. We believe that we're not good enough, we believe that we're not powerful enough. We're still not like in this little victim cycle, right? So then we're manifesting that. That's why Jesus, he took his part, and once he knew, then he can hit people instantly.
Because
You're going through your process. All the process that you're going through is just to build self-confidence.
Yes.
No matter what you choose to do, fasting, art, whatever you choose, it's just building your confidence that yes, you can do it. That's all. Doesn't matter what you choose. So
Yeah.
might as well choose something you enjoy.
Yeah.
But if you're choosing it because it's difficult and you can survive, that also is helping you. Like, I am all powerful, I'm indestructible, I can do tough things. That's okay.
You can choose that too.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
But it's going to come the point eventually, if you choose to, especially if you choose to make it easy, it's going to come the point where you're like, hey, I am the creator of everything. Yes, I can create everything. I am all powerful. I can close my eyes, open it, and the place will be paid. And you could close your eyes, open it, and the place will be paid. What I'm going to is through a magic trick, which I already created in my mind, where people could come for healing, which really there is no such thing as healing. It's just self-discovery. You discover who you are. Once you discover who you are, then you just choose to use your power for what you want. That's it. So the people that are blind, they choose to see, cool, they can see. The people that cannot walk, they choose to walk, and they can walk. The people that are old, they choose to rejuvenate, cool, they can rejuvenate. Just turn on, off the lights, magic trick, everybody's good, and they get the download, and they get to enjoy the life right away. Yeah, making sense. I'm done with making it hard.
Yeah. For sure.
So I'm like, no, I'm going to simplicity. That's why I'm shortening the program. That's why I'm getting right to the root, and the root is just a negative thought.
Yeah.
That's it. So
And you found that out along the way of your
because
path.
I was suffering a lot, right? And I thought I needed to suffer to get a good result. When in reality,
Yeah.
no, love cures it all. So if you're outside of love, that GPS, that you're doing something that is outside, it's just an illusion. And if you want to live in illusion, then you're going to have the fruits of that illusion. And if you want to be in your power, you're going to have the fruits of your power. And the love.
How was the lady that had the
Broken leg?
Yeah,
She is a
you
lot
wanted
better.
somebody with a broken bone to work
Yes,
on.
with tequila, I gave her a microdose of Iboga, and then she was able to walk. And she tried to commit suicide many times. She cut her body, and yada yada yada. I saw her on the street. She was really good. She had a big ball where she had the broken thingy because she had a little bit of surgery, and the ball came down completely. But I know for a fact I wasn't 100% confident of myself. But that was a good stepping stone because I made a stepping stone, so she's able to walk, she's able to do good. But then the next one, even this one, she will be really good. They told her 6 weeks. No, they told her 8 weeks. She had 7 weeks left, and then the very next day I saw her. She was doing really good, very happy.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah, there is nothing, absolutely nothing that can come from a negative thought.
What about people's karma?
It's just the thoughts. It doesn't exist. It's an illusion. Your karma, you create it. You believe you have karma from past lives. Therefore, you created that life for yourself. The moment is like, it's a perfect match. Everything is a perfect divine match. You assaulted somebody, your soul wanted to have the experience of how it was to assault somebody else. That other soul wanted to have the experience of what it was to be helpless and being assaulted and unfair. Just an illusion. You match perfectly. The reality is you're both eternal loving beings, and you did that out of love to allow that person to have the experience. It's like BDSM spiritual.
Like what?
BDSM, bondage, what is submission, masochism.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but the spiritual version.
What I understand,
The
though,
other turn.
spirits usually want to have the full round of it. So they usually go, okay, I did that to somebody. Let me see what it's like on the other end. And they kind of get the full round.
But they choose.
They
It's
choose.
free will. So you came here, so you chose every experience in your life. So anything that the guilt is just an illusion. Any negative beliefs, any negative feelings are just illusion. Because you cannot, in reality, you cannot feel guilty of giving people exactly what they want, or the spirit exactly what they want, and vice versa. So once you realize that there is no guilt, and that we're all innocent, then you can embrace your innocence. And with the new being knowledge, you can choose whatever you know. Okay, I'm done with those experiences. I got what I needed to get from that. Now I'm choosing different experiences. Or you can choose bad.
Yeah.
Your choice. But then now it's with consciousness.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I do think consciousness can transform karma.
Karma doesn't exist unless you make it. So and this is beautiful because you don't need to accept anybody else's beliefs. Once you get your own knowledge, once you have it, once you know, you don't need to believe anything.
Yeah.
So then once you experience it, once you know it, then you'll be like, oh, was it easy all the time? Oh, I did choose that because we're all mirrors. So because we are all mirrors, if I think life is unfair, if I think I have karma to pay, then I'm going to see it reflected everywhere around. And it's not just going to be on my partner, on my friends, on my kids. It's going to be on the neighbors because they're all my reflection. On the mechanic, on the flight attendant, everywhere I go,
You know,
in different
I
flavors.
don't know, Miguel. Like, I'll just give you an example.
I love this one. Okay, but then, okay, I listen to you.
Yeah.
Okay, but just be open to
Yeah, no, I'm open.
to the idea. If you want to see it, you can see it. If you choose not to look around, you won't see it. Okay, but I'm telling you, the answer will come back to you. If you choose to look around, then you will see it. If you don't, that's okay. Go ahead.
Well, you know, I have had an experience with a certain someone in my reality for a while, and I have been so like praying for them to heal all the, you know, I don't think there was anything in my psyche that was feeling like there should be a block, you know, but they just weren't shifting.
So is someone that you were helping to heal? Or
Well, I would
give me
I
the
would
context.
send I
A
would
friend,
send them.
family, or a
Yeah,
client?
well, it was an ex-husband. And, you know, just constantly spewing negativity and, you know, just stuff my way. And I just really wanted to heal that for the sake of my children, for all, you know, because it was just there are certain things
Certain
that
people don't change.
you just can't control.
Exactly. That's the negative belief.
What?
There are certain things you just can't control.
Okay.
You can control everything. Why? Because everything is a reflection of you. You change yourself, you change the world.
Yes.
Let that sink in.
I really felt that I had changed myself.
Just to keep the negative thought off. There are certain things you cannot control. When you're the maker of your life, you're the director, the principal actor, you're the one that assigns the roles to everybody else.
We are, like Roberto said, one day, you created all this.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
She's like, who wrote
You
this
see,
story?
I know,
That's
like,
the easy answer.
Who wrote this script anyway?
So did you see how
Roberto's like, you did.
Do you see how much I simplified it? Because that's the thing, I just wanted to make it simple for everybody, including myself. So I'm like, I'm just going to boil it down to the verbal. Then I can enjoy more the present moment.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you
It's
so
like
much.
so simple, but it's
I know.
sometimes
Simplex.
So,
yeah,
Simple
it's
but complex.
Yeah.
so
There's
try.
more
So,
to it.
so I really
no,
I mean, there's not more to it, but
it's really just so freaking
Yeah.
simple.
Yeah.
But there's just so much other things that tell us it's not, that aren't
Yeah.
real. It's what tells us
Yeah, it's
it's
just
not real.
distractions.
It is that
Yeah.
simple, but everything that's false is telling us that it's not. And it appears to be a lot of that falseness when it's
I
so
know.
simple
And here is the other.
on purpose. It's supposed to be distracted and be put off of that because it is so simple.
You already
yeah.
have the path. You have a 7-day. What is it? 7-day
Water fast and
fasting. Okay, if you just implement to that 7-day water fasting or fast that you have fasting from negative thoughts, that's it. And you can just do it without the fasting. And you can just do it everything. And
Okay,
just get rid of the
from
negative
my
thoughts.
experience and maybe
I understand,
because it's a
because
belief,
that's-
but I still had shit in my body after fasting that wasn't coming out
I
on its
understand.
own.
You can try it if you want. If you don't, that's okay. You can be held hostage on that negative thought and go ahead. Or you can just choose to see what tastes good for you and be grateful. Knowing that whatever tastes good to you is good to you because it's God.
Yeah, okay. But let me just say this. I have one of our teachers told us this, that it doesn't matter, it's more about your emotions and all this stuff. Well, he's got a big gut, and when the last time he did medicine, he shit his pants. Like,
Mirrors.
what do you mean?
Okay.
Where'd you said that? You said mirror.
Well, yeah, you
Whenever
just, yeah,
somebody
he
walked
did,
past
yeah.
it, he just said mirror.
So
But that's what I'm observing is
there is perfection on everything unless you choose not to see it. So
All
his
is whole,
belly,
complete, and perfect. All is
his belly, like his soul chose to have this path, but in this path it reflects you as well. So even your teachers are reflecting you in some areas, but also all those opportunities. Any moment you catch yourself in a judging of somebody, really all it is you're judging yourself. So if you just change the name of my teacher and you put your name in there, then you will know what you truly think of yourselves.
Is it a judgment or is it an observation? Because you see a big, huge guy walking down the street, you can see that he eats a lot of food and he probably has a gut full of shit. It's not a judgment, it's an observation. It's obvious that this guy is carrying a whole lot of weight. Is that a judgment or is it an observation?
You can define it however you want, but whatever you say about that person, that's how you see yourself.
But if you don't see it in a negative way, it's just that's what
Just
it
that
is,
person is
whatever it is,
a
and
big
good,
person.
good for
That's
them
just-
and going through their path, and that's not the path I want.
right.
Okay, so yes, and that's how you see yourself. So if you're all accepting, then you're all accepting. If you're all love, you're all love. In this particular case, just realize that how you think about money, how you think about your neighbors, how you think about everyone else, and that's the very first thing what I take people right now to realize how we are all one, and by being all one, whatever you say of somebody else is really what you're saying about yourself.
I heard a wonderful quote recently. I think it was from the Vision from Mind Valley, and the way he retrained his mind from judging. Anytime he saw anything that felt triggering to him, he said, "Oh, there I go again doing whatever it is they're doing that's triggering." He said, "Oh, there I go again, hollering obscenities in the alley. There I go again.
There I go again.
There I go again, drinking too much. There I go again, just like, there I go again." It's just, but I thought it was kind of, I'm starting to practice that if anything triggers me. Just,
Yeah.
there I go again, and then just,
And here is the next level up.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
That's a good
But
one.
it's
That's a
still
really good one.
Enforcing
Kinda-
negative thoughts, though.
You got it.
You're still enforcing.
You got it.
negative things.
There I go
Now
again.
you're saying.
it depends how you say it.
Yes, there I
Then
go.
you're saying there I go again.
If you say-
saying absurdities, then now you're telling yourself that you're saying absurdities.
You're missing the God in it. You're missing that alcohol is a spirit, and it's a good spirit too. You're missing that it brings out things that you believe about yourselves, but sometimes we choose to, instead of alcohol is helping you to bring them out, for them to stay out, but sometimes we embrace them. So we're just using the tools, not, well, we're using it for our consciousness because we want it to feel that way. But once you realize things, then you will see the good in everything. Okay, he's in his journey, okay, he's getting this, okay, then you can see it completely different. Once it's all good, it is all good.
Integrating the all is whole, complete, and perfect, all is good, all is one.
This is
All the all is the
so-
all, it's all
yeah.
good, all the time. Everything's perfect, everything is exactly what we created.
But then once you realize that it's just that, and integrate it and start to practicing
Yeah.
then imagine. You see? And then the thing
Yeah.
is that you create with thought, and sometimes it takes a little bit of time to manifest in the real world, or at least we believe that. Right? That's why we cannot have the pavement the street paved right away because we think it takes a little bit of time.
Yeah,
That's it.
so it is. The guy is already filling out the paperwork. He's already passed in
Yeah.
the code. They're already gathering the rock from the quarry right now.
So here is the thing, because of that belief, once you give a different role to somebody else, then it's just going to take a little bit of time because we believe it takes time. That's the only reason why.
Yeah.
Take a
So
little time
then it's
believe
going to
it
take a
takes
little bit of
time,
time for them to be reflected how you created. Like for example, when I was in Portugal, I was still in my victim cycle, which I did not recognize fully at the time. No, not at all actually. But I did recognize that I was in my victim cycle. That's why I needed time for myself. But I did not recognize
When was
how
this?
or was.
When was
I
it?
just went 4 weeks ago, more or less, 3 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
For 1 week. And then, so I went, and then I realized, oh, yes, it's true. I'm giving my wife the perfect role of me changing and being a good person right now, but her not being able to see it. Therefore, I'm still the victim. Right? Because I already changed, different, but she cannot see it. For me, I'm like, fuck that. I'm not gonna go through that anymore. I'm like, my wife sees me for how I am, and I love her and she loves me. I come back, we do a little microdose. You know, oh my God, I see. I gave you the paper of you being the bad one of the movie. I created that.
I saw how I was giving him the script of, what's it called? The
villain.
Villain.
script.
Okay.
I said, I don't want that anymore. I love you, see how marvelous you are. And I'm like, don't worry. You know what? If you want me to be the bad of the movie, I'll do it for you.
You already signed up to be that
because,
for that point.
because,
anyways.
because
You
now that I
already
know
created
that whatever I do is what she wants, I'm okay, fine. I said, no, but I prefer obviously being out of that, being out of that energy, because that's what you attract everywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm done with that.
Yeah.
I know.
That
I know.
wasn't his
That's
role.
true.
That wasn't your
That
role
was
in her
that,
life.
that wasn't that's a, she
didn't
was
talk
the
about
only
that.
one. Yeah, my role with her was she was the only one that always understood me,
Oh.
and she was the only one that always understood me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. Just
created
change the
that.
script.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that easy.
Yep. I like that fasting from negative beliefs and negative thoughts, and even examining that. You helped us look into that deeper, look into like what a negative thought is, and like look into how much is actual negative thoughts, like how many things are actually negative thoughts.
Okay, but what about with my when I got hacked? How the fuck did I create that?
There I go
Perhaps-
again, hacking away. I'm just joking.
That's nothing worrying.
Because
It's too soon.
everything we needed to leave here at the exact time we did. We needed to be rolling down that road at the exact time we did to bless that guy when our tire blew the exact way we did.
Yeah, but
Because everything along the way had to happen exactly the way, or else it would have happened. Everything, it could have happened. If it could have happened any other way, it would have.
Yes. But yes, 100%. I'm with you, 100%. In addition to that,
yeah.
and just to highlight
Yeah.
what David said, at the end of the day, everything happens for your benefit. At the end of the day, so it
Yes.
doesn't matter what script you choose, and that's what it. So it happened for your benefit. That's
Yeah,
number
it
one.
did, obviously. Like in the long run, it totally
However,
did.
You can choose the how, not exactly the how, but the what emotions, sensations you get to get for your benefit. You can learn feeling good throughout the way, but you can learn feeling bad. So feeling bad is the illusion. Feeling good is in your power. Is the truth of who you are. So somewhere around there was a negative belief that life is not fair. Perhaps that the universe puts roadblocks and you need to flow, and that the flow is to go through all the different roadblocks and not being affected. Perhaps that a negative belief that that things are not easy and that your life in here is to overcome obstacles. All that is a lie. You have kids, you have had pets, you want the best for them. our Father, which is us as well, we want the best for ourselves. The moment you choose to give yourself that role of all worthy, that life is simple, everything comes to me easily,
And then you hug yourself.
and then you hug yourself.
All is whole, complete, and perfect. All the time.
But then you have to actually integrate it, not just to say it, because Abraham Hicks, I listened to Abraham Hicks, and there's some things that I didn't connect with it because he was too positive, too fast. Bashar, I understand because I experienced that. He explained it in such a way that it makes sense. But then there came a point where I saw the perfection in everything. I saw God in everything. I felt God in everything. I did no longer see sugar as bad. I could actually enjoy it. I could actually be grateful for all the different forms that God expressed Himself to me to enjoy.
I don't, just because everything is perfect and everything is God, to me, from what I understand, doesn't mean every path is equal and every path leads to the same destination. Every path is all the same. I think there's perfection in it. People choosing a path that
Totally.
involves distress and contrast,
Totally.
learning, more learning.
Totally.
Yeah.
And not every
Totally.
path is identical.
Well,
It's a choice.
you know, and my beliefs are such right now that eating the whole fresh foods, I feel better than I ever have,
Yeah.
and I
It's
Yeah.
perfect.
would not want to go and
It's
eat
perfect.
the other things. That's
And
just
it's
it's
not a
where I'm at.
commitment, it's just the path that we're on that we believe is best for us.
And
Yeah.
It's not
it's
missing
perfect
anything
for
out
you.
either.
You
It's,
feel good in your
it's
body
seeing
with
a
it?
whole
Yes,
other way.
yeah, I
That's
feel
the
great, and
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm missing anything. I don't,
Yeah.
you know, I don't feel like I'm depriving myself either.
What
Yeah.
I'm saying is that it's
Not
perfect
missing
for
out.
you.
Yeah. Yeah,
And,
yeah,
that,
yeah.
and that's the first
Yeah.
thing I said, it's perfect for you. And I love seeing that.
Yeah.
Because it is perfect for you.
It really is.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Everything that you're going through at any moment in time is perfect for you.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not trying to force it on anybody else.
Of course
We're
not.
trying to show somebody else it's perfect for them.
Yes.
If they
it will
choose
be.
and think that it would be perfect for them and they want to,
It will be.
then we will.
It
Help
is.
them.
I want to
It is.
bring more of this kind of food.
Yes.
Or game. I like
I
that.
like it too. I like it too.
You'll have
Yeah.
access to our cookbook and you can
Yeah,
tell us
yeah,
what
yeah,
you want and
yeah.
do some reviews.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. If you get just a good, you know, food processor and
Dryer.
dehydrator.
We did it at first on the roof in the sun. The
Yeah.
crackers we can make in
Yeah,
a
but
day or
here-
two.
Oh, I want to
Good
show
enough.
you
Just
one
put
other
them in a
thing
day.
too.
Wow.
The sun is strong enough here. You can
Yeah,
she
yeah,
makes
yeah,
some
yeah.
sweet cookies and
Yeah.
we were able to do a lot of things in the blender, but the processor takes it to another level.
Mhm, I don't-
We couldn't make the nut butters
Mhm.
kind of things in the blender. You could, it just takes a lot more stirring.
Yeah.
Takes a lot more time.
And wear and tear on the
And this all takes a little bit more time doing, but we have all the time.
Yeah.
So
But we
The
have the
slow
time
food.
right now. Like we, you know, and this is what we do. We create.
those don't really go together.
I know they don't
They
go
go-
together, but I'm just giving her a little this. This is his cheese. The cheese. You want to try?
Sure.
What
Is this the
this?
cashew
You wanna
macadamia lime?
Yeah,
Lemon?
lemon and salt.
Simple
Salt.
recipe.
Yeah. This is a little cookie if you'd like one. It's nuts and fruit.
So she was making almond milk and she'd strain the almonds after blending them really good.
Okay, I'll try a tiny bit from
And
here.
then she
May?
mixed that with different fruit
And
leftovers
fruit.
too. She juiced
Thank you.
some, was that the pineapple?
I think the mambe too. I don't really know. Like,
Pineapple maybe?
yeah, when I juiced,
This
I
has
had some-
pineapple.
Yeah.
Have you had the
so I had-
mamba, the mamas? The fruit, the mamia? Can you bring out one of those fruits?
Yeah.
It's like a pink sweet avocado. It's one of those fruits we found and we're just blown away by
Pink
it.
sweet avocado.
Yeah, that's the best way I could say it.
This is what it looks like. This one I thought it was really ripe, but
it's
it
the,
wasn't quite.
What's it called? A
Mamey.
mambo?
Mamey.
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 Yeah.
Mamey.
Oh, that's
but they
really
have.
cool.
They're
amazing.
really, really good when they're super ripe. This one I thought I was like, oh, it's ripe, and it was like it could have used another day.
It needs to
or
be a
two.
little squishier
Where'd
than
you buy
avocado.
this?
by
Yeah.
the way.
We got these at the Chiadri.
Shadri? Okay, I've never even heard of those ones.
Yeah, these are amazing. They have the same texture as like an avocado, but super sweet.
We dried some of them. We made some, mixed them in with other things.
Yummy.
Super.
Nature's so abundant.
I made jalapeno poppers the other day. 24 hours in the
What's a
dehydrator.
popper?
Jalapeno stuffed with cheese.
Oh, okay, okay,
I
okay.
made the cheese to stuff in the jalapeno. Then I
So,
made a cheese,
yeah.
a crunchy cheese with flaxseed to put on the outside and put it in the dehydrator for 24 hours.
Wow.
So good. We just ate the
Are
last
you
one.
incubating eggs? Because it looks like you're incubating eggs.
I know it's we're cooking. Well, it's not cooking really. It's just dehydrating. It's taking the moisture out of things.
They're not eggs in there though. Those
I
are
have tomatoes
seeds.
in there and avocado seeds and little crackers.
I think she thought they were eggs.
Why is there avocado seeds?
Because he thinks he wants to shred them. They have a lot of nutrition,
Oh.
so he's going to shred them and put them in different things as like a superfood.
That's
That's
amazing.
boring.
We eat 4 avocados a day each,
That's
pretty
really
much. So we might as well see if we can utilize the seeds. It's supposed
Smart.
to be. I think it's supposed to have more goodness in it than the actual avocado does.
Wow.
Well,
But
my dad brought
We're gonna try and
mango.
extract it.
Oh yeah, we brought you a little bit of fruit because we wanted to
Oh.
bring a little bit of dessert. We're like, what could we bring? We cannot go empty-handed. So
thank you.
Crystal stopped and I don't know if she brought them down or she left them in the car, but we brought you a little bit of fruit. So just
Aw.
mangoes,
We appreciate
just like a couple of mangoes, watermelon, and I think one more fruit.
Oh yay!
So I'll check. Wow, it's nice seeing you here.
Yeah, it's good to see you too.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I had meditated on the wanting to just do a microdose of Iboga.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah,
It's only
us-
now the microdose is only like a couple of hours, and then we get rid of the clear of past lives, everything, because all of that is just.
I know.
So then, it's automatically just like clear all your past lives, all the past life goes away. All the generational healing, boom, generational healing instantly. Open all the chakras, all the chakras open, just like what we